Welcome back. Today, we're continuing our discussion on LNG simulator training. This is part 2, and I think there's still so much to explore.
Absolutely. The world of LNG is fascinating, especially when you dive into simulator training. It's like the flight simulators for pilots, but for LNG operators.
I love that comparison. It really helps people understand the stakes. Why do you think simulator training is so essential for LNG professionals?
Well, LNG operations are complex and high risk. You can't just shut down a terminal for practice. Simulators let trainees make mistakes without dangerous consequences.
That makes sense. I imagine the scenarios can get pretty intense. Do you know what kinds of situations they simulate?
Definitely. They cover everything from routine loading and unloading to emergency shutdowns, leaks, and even rare equipment failures. It's like a choose-your-own disaster novel, but with real technical skills at stake.
That sounds stressful, but also kind of exciting. Do you think the stress level in the simulator matches real life?
Good question. I'd say it's close, especially with advanced simulators that mimic real control rooms. They even use alarms and time pressure to make it feel real.
I bet that helps trainees build confidence. Have you heard about any common mistakes that happen during training?
Oh, for sure. One classic is forgetting about the boil-off gas management. If you ignore it, pressure can rise quickly, a bit like leaving a kettle on, but on a massive scale.
Yikes, that's a scary mental image. So, do trainees repeat the same scenarios until they get it right?
Exactly. Repetition is key. Instructors often throw curveballs too. Sometimes just when things seem calm, a surprise fault pops up.
Keeps everyone on their toes. Speaking of instructors, what role do they play during these sessions?
They're like directors behind the scenes. They set up the scenarios, watch how trainees respond, and offer feedback afterwards. Sometimes they even act as different crew members.
That's clever. It must help with teamwork. I wonder if simulator training also improves communication skills.
Absolutely. Communication is crucial in LNG ops. Simulators let teams practice clear, concise exchanges, like calling out alarms or coordinating responses.
I can see that. Have you ever tried a simulator, even just for fun?
I have. It's humbling, honestly. Even basic tasks feel overwhelming at first. The pressure to not mess up is real, even though you know it's just a simulation.
I guess that's part of the learning curve. Do you think simulator training can fully replace hands-on experience?
Not entirely. It's a fantastic supplement, but nothing beats real-world practice. Still, simulators prepare you for things you hopefully never face in real life.
Like the rare emergencies you mentioned earlier?
Exactly. It's better to fail in the simulator and learn from it than in the actual plant. Plus, you can repeat the scenario until you get it perfect.
That's reassuring. Do you think the technology behind simulators is advancing quickly?
Oh yes. With VR and AI, simulators are getting more realistic. Some even track eye movement or stress levels to tailor feedback.
That's wild. So in the future, we might see fully immersive VR LNG training?
It's already starting. Imagine walking through a virtual plant, interacting with equipment, and even feeling haptic feedback if you make a mistake.
That sounds like a sci-fi movie. Do you think this technology will make training more accessible?
For sure. Remote training is becoming more practical. You could be anywhere in the world and still get hands-on experience.
That could help with the skills gap, too. More people can train without needing to be at a physical site.
Exactly. Plus, it's safer and often more cost-effective. Companies don't need to schedule as many live drills.
That's a plus. Are there any drawbacks you can think of with simulator training?
Maybe overconfidence. Some might think if they ace the simulator, they're ready for anything. But real-world variables can always surprise you.
True, nothing replaces the unpredictability of reality. Do you think simulator training is standardized across the industry?
Not entirely. Some companies invest heavily, while others only offer basic versions. There's definitely room for more standardization.
Maybe in the future, international bodies could set guidelines for LNG simulator training.
That would be great. It could help ensure everyone meets a baseline of competency, no matter where they work.
Makes sense. What would you say is the biggest benefit of simulator training for LNG professionals?
Confidence for sure. Trainees get to test their responses and learn from mistakes without real consequences.
And maybe a little bit of humility too?
Absolutely. The simulator doesn't let you hide. If you make an error, it's right there.
I love that. So, wrapping up, if you could design a scenario for an LNG simulator, what would it be?
I'd create a Murphy's Law Day scenario where everything that can go wrong does. Leaks, alarms, equipment failures, even a surprise inspection.
That would definitely keep trainees on their toes. I'd probably add a curveball, like a sudden storm or a power outage.
That's a great twist. It's all about preparing for the unexpected. The more you practice, the better you handle surprises.
That's a great takeaway. Simulator training is about building skills, but also resilience.
Exactly. And maybe having a sense of humor about your mistakes along the way.
Thanks for sharing these insights. For those listening, if you're considering a career in LNG, don't be afraid of the simulator. It's your best friend.
And remember, it's better to sweat in training than freeze up in the real world. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Until then, keep learning and stay curious.